It is Cooperville Live for Tuesday, February the 9th, 2021. Happy National Pizza Day. That's what today is. It's National Pizza Day. You go out and enjoy some za. It seems odd. I mean, I'm sure it's aligned by date and it's right around the Super Bowl, but weird. Tuesday, National Pizza Day. So this is when my phone gets lit up because I do stupid things like, you know, when you order pizza from somewhere, you order online, I always forget to unclick the message me box. So I just get like a ton of text messages on random days that are like, hey, it's National Pizza Day. But that's what today is, National Pizza Day. So go and enjoy. I'll probably end up eating something, you know, something healthy, you know, trying to live forever and shit. Yeah, it's neither here nor there. But I got a big show lined up for you today. Adam Schultz and Dakota Yarrington will be on the program from Fast Fuel. So we will talk about eating healthy and living forever and all that stuff. That's coming up here in under 10 minutes. They're also from Adventure Athletes Company. So we'll chat with them about what is an adventure athlete. I've run outside a couple times, so I figure maybe that qualifies me, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out from the experts. So that is on the way. Also, my good friend Kyle Yudes from Recipes for Freedom, constitutional law expert. Lots of things going on, not just locally, but regionally and nationally. And a man who has studied and knows the Constitution. Maybe better than anybody. I'm not sure. But Kyle Yudes will be coming up at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So another action-packed day here on Cooperville Live, wherever you are watching. Thank you, first and foremost, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. No matter where you are, make sure that you jump yourself into the comments. Jody? How you doing? Good to see you. Jody, I got Joey's going to be on tomorrow. Joey's going to be on tomorrow. So looking forward to that. We'll chat more about tomorrow's show towards the end of today's show, and then obviously on tomorrow's show. But thank you for tuning in. By the way, if you are on Twitch, please make sure you hit the follow button. So every time we do go live on Twitch, we're going to be doing some other things outside of normal show hours, which is 3 to 6 Monday through Friday. Going to be doing that exclusively on Twitch. So twitch.tv/No Limit Cooper. Otherwise, if you have the Twitch app, which is free to download, you can just jump on there and search No Limit Cooper, and you will find the program. Look for that symbol right. That's really hard to do. It's backwards. Yeah, that symbol right there. You'll see that, and you can join the program. Lots of stuff to get to as far as newsworthy headlines today. Of course, the impeachment trials of former President Trump underway today in our nation's capital. And regardless, I don't really care what you think. I mean, I do. I genuinely care what you think. But here's the thing that got me a little factoid I heard about this. So it is going to cost, and this is just in, I'm sure there's more money elsewhere that is being spent, but in security alone. So the National Guard is set up. Obviously, they put up, if you've seen the pictures around the White House, like a 10-foot tall barbed wire fence and then razor wire around the top. And then they got National Guard all over the place still running security detail for this trial. $500 million of taxpayer money going to make sure that everything stays safe. $500 million bucks. I can't imagine anywhere at this juncture in time where that money could possibly go that would be better suited. Can you? No? Yeah? No? Speaking of money, we talked about this yesterday because it really was the highlight of Super Bowl 55, and that was the streaker. Yari something is his name. Yari. Arrested, obviously. It was some great spin moves, though. I mean, I commented on his his athletic prowess. Besides coming up about a yard and a half short of getting into the end zone before he did the slide, though. You got to know better. Maybe he's like a quarterback in high school or something. If you slide, you're marked down where the ball is when your feet hit the ground. It's not like you get to, they mark you down. He didn't get into the end zone, so it doesn't even count. But regardless, so the guy that does the streaking at the Super Bowl, get this, bet on himself. So all those prop bets that go on before the Super Bowl, right? there was a prop bet that there would or would not be somebody streaking across the field during the Super Bowl. He bet on himself and won like $375,000. With legal fees and stuff. I mean, I think the fine was like, he got out of jail. His bond was like $500. You throw some lawyer fees in there. You get the ticket for trespass. But dude, he came out, man. That's not a bad gig. If you're going to play the game, play it. There was another big controversy, I think, before the Super Bowl. There was a reporter outside of Joe Robbie Stadium. That's in Miami, the Buccaneers facility. Doing an interview, but then recording them practicing the national anthem. And that's obviously a big thing because one of the prop bets is, will the national anthem be over 2 minutes? He recorded it from start to beginning and had a timer running. It was 2:16, so he kind of blew up that whole prop bet before the Super Bowl actually started. So, I don't know. You know how much money? I think I lost money on the Super Bowl. I didn't even bet on it, but somehow I think I woke up Monday with less money in my pocket, and oddly enough. Another big thing that's kind of been circling around the interwebs regarding the Super Bowl, and I always find these things fascinating. So there was a photo which if you glance at it, it looks like it's from the halftime show. It looks like you can see the Weeknd and some of his stage paraphernalia, I guess. And one of the photos that was circling around on Twitter was a photo of him, and then behind him on a screen it says Satan. Okay. So this obviously sends a bunch of people into a frenzy. So the hashtag NFL is satanic started trending on Twitter because of this photo that was circling around. It turns out once the fact checkers, I think those are real people, right? Fact checkers. Once the fact checkers got a hold of it, it's actually from a 2017 performance from the Weeknd. So it wasn't from the Super Bowl. Therefore, the NFL is not satanic. We can't confirm or deny the meaning behind it for the Weeknd. But yeah, I guess if you watch that Super Bowl halftime show, perhaps it will make you question your things, make you question your decisions in life, perhaps. Lots of stuff to get to today on the show, but I do see that the boys are here. They are ready to conversate and dominate adjusting cameras. Oh, look, we got them both in the shot here. Should have gone with a wide angle, my friends. There you go.
We had some technical difficulties, but I think we got to figure it out.
Dude, my life is a technical difficulty. Like, how do these buttons work? I don't understand.
So many buttons, so many default internets.
I know, man. It's Adam Schultz and Dakota Yarrington from Fast Fuel and Adventure Adley Company. I mean, do you guys wanted to throw some more stuff out there? I feel like you don't have enough going on. Perhaps there's got to be. I'm sure you guys have another adventure you're working on. It can't just be those two things. There's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, we can only give you so much information right now, too.
And Adam,
These are the fun things.
Yeah, the two things that are actually out and in public right now. Adam, I know you got a flock of children you have to keep maintain too. So, and this is 8 full-time jobs.
Yeah, exactly. There's 7 other mouths to feed here, so lots to accomplish.
Well, I wanted to get you guys on because of a couple reasons. One thing is starting a new business during the middle of a pandemic. I know you guys have posted some things about this. And it was strangely coincidental. I had Dr. Jay LaGuardia on like right after the lockdown, at least in Wisconsin, started. And, he said a lot of people are being fearful right now. They're kind of scared of what the future holds. Nobody knows. 15 days. It's now 10 months in. But his vision or his idea was that maybe this is a good time to go into business because everybody's going to be afraid of doing it. Yet here you two are starting new businesses in the middle of a pandemic. Let's talk about Fast Fuel to get started. Where did this concept originate from? And tell me about the progress so far.
It originated probably, I'd say 4 years ago when I just thought the idea of having healthier options available was a cool idea. Dabbled in some other things in the last couple of years and finally found the urge to really launch this forward because of COVID. It was a perfect time. Things were closing down. We thought if we could provide a fast, healthy, on-the-go alternative, now is a better time.
Yeah, I think there is for somebody who tries my best, even though I opened the show talking about it's National Pizza Day, so maybe I should rethink my life choices. But there is a real lack when we talk about eating healthy, eating clean, and convenience is difficult to find, and you really have to do your research on it. So, how are you guys doing as far as the marketing for this? Because it is something that people have to search out. What is the marketing strategy? Are you guys strictly utilizing social media? Where are you guys at with your marketing?
Yeah, so we're taking a couple different avenues for the marketing and recognition side of it. Obviously, social media, especially in this time of social distancing and whatnot, is going to be a valuable asset, and paid ads through Facebook and Instagram and things like that to reach people that are in our demographic. But one of the other ways we're going to do it is just straight guerrilla marketing, man. It's business to business, handing out coupons, samples, getting to events and farmers markets, and just really getting the brand out there and just showing everyone what it is that we're doing.
As far as like timing goes, because trying to be a business owner is challenging enough as it is, but if someone's trying to start a new business, they think they have a great idea, a great concept. What kind of advice do you offer people who come to you with questions about entrepreneurship and really getting into being their own boss?
I'll start with this one. Adam could add in anything extra. I think having a plan, having a vision, and finding something that you're really excited about. Find something you're passionate about that you could literally do every day and not get paid for it and still really love doing it. I think that's number one.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is just having the resiliency to know that there's going to be failures along the way, and that if you let those kinds of things stop you, then entrepreneurship isn't really your gig. Especially for what we're doing right now. We want to get this opened last March. Looked at our first building. And that same day, we were told that Wisconsin's locked down, and so we looked at each other like, "What do we do now?" Mm-hmm. And we just kept going. We kept finding our location, finding our menu items, our launch, our marketing, and we just kept going no matter what. We had the goal. We didn't know how we're going to get there, but we knew we were going to get there.
There's something to be said about doing your research before you start a business. Obviously, in the field that you're trying to get into, there's tons of avenues, tons of ways to find it, but I know you guys are diligent on the type of social media that you follow, the people that you I want to say model yourselves after, but the advice that you take out there. Who are some of the main individuals you follow as far as entrepreneurship mindset? Can
you say that last part again? You're a little bit breaking out. Entrepreneurship.
Yeah, Gary Vee, who your go-to guys?
That was my first go-to guy, is Gary Vee. I really like Gary Vee. I like his no bullshit attitude. I like how he gives it to you up front, and just says, hey, it's not always gonna be perfect, but if you have a vision for it and you work every day at it and you master a couple things every single day, it's gonna make it work.
Yeah, and I would add, actually, the gentleman you mentioned, Jay LaGuardia, has been a mentor of mine through entrepreneurship from really the beginning. So, what Jay does with the people he coaches and the business that he has is definitely something I look up to.
And that's another asset to add too, because a guy like Dr. He is. Besides the fact that he's local, he's a guy you can go and you can have a conversation with, or you can have a text message with. But he's also a guy that posts tons of really, really smart things. He's got his podcast that deals with a lot of those things in the entrepreneurial world. So a couple of great resources there. And it's really hard to argue with anything that Gary Vee says. It almost, he's been called the Nostradamus before. I don't think he's far off. And another guy who said, this may be the time, while everybody else is sitting back on their laurels, has basically been told by every federal agency in the world to sit on their couch and get lazy for 10 months. Now might be the time to act. And it seems like you guys are doing that with Fast Fuel.
Yeah, we definitely are. We took the mindset of, hey, no one's doing anything, so we're going to have more room to play. We're going to have more screen time to be in people's on their Facebook and their social medias. So the more they can see us because they're not seeing anybody else, this is the time to do it.
And are you guys open yet? Is the actual brick and mortar, is it open yet?
No, we're not open yet. We're in the build out stage right now, which is super exciting. We have an awesome partner that's helping us build this out. It's going to look really nice, really clean. And we're asking projections about the end of March, but follow along with our Facebook page because this year's been wild. We've been building the suspense. We wanted to be open last year, but we're very, very close.
And that's a huge, I think, a huge point to make is you did run into a lot of challenges, obviously some that you didn't expect. Nobody expected really COVID to be the giant pain in the ass that it has been, but you're going to run into things regardless when you're trying to open a business. But keeping after it, you think that's probably been the main the reason that you guys are sustaining and have this vision to be open in a couple months.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's part of it. I think one of the big things that we sort of saw an opportunity to do is pivot into something that no one was doing, kind of like Dakota said. And so, our business model changed a couple of different times. And so with the new COVID protocols and, all the things that are getting attention around that right now, we have to be able to pivot to each of those things so that we are still gaining attention, even during a time when attention is scarce.
Outside of the rules and regulations and stuff, have you run into any issues because of COVID? I mean, not necessarily like, but challenges, say, from the city or the county, things that, in maybe a less shitty time to be trying to open a business, a little bit, smoother sailing as far as the economy goes. Have you had any obstacles run into with the city or anything about regulations and rules and things that you can and can't do as of late?
We haven't really ran into any problems so far, which is nice. Just, be safe, do what's right for you, respect the customer, and, do what's healthy for you and your business is kind of what we've been working with. We haven't really got anything crazy changing, but I'd say as far as the restaurant scene, we've had to change our business model because of, carry out or delivery or drive through, so in that aspects, those are the things that have changed more so than the regulations and laws. It's more of how you're doing your business versus, what you can and cannot do.
Yeah. How are we going to get to our customer the best way?
And with our model of fast fuel being healthy fast food, that was kind of our mission from the get-go is convenience of pickup orders, delivery orders. We're in negotiations of a drive-through, this year. So we have a lot of things coming forward that's going to make us resilient to literally whatever happens to the economy.
Yeah, we're essentially at this point trying to make it so we're essential, right? We're at this point, it doesn't matter what happens if there's another pandemic or if there's martial law or whatever, we can still provide our product to our customer.
It's healthy, it's food, it's water, we need it all.
Yeah, if martial law kicks in, I'm gonna be calling you guys for some delivery. I'll be, cleaning my guns and stuff and be like, hey, just looking for a little something to get me through the rest of the day.
Just think of us as the modern day milkman. We'll drop off your juice at your door.
Yeah.
Well, I got my pack sitting over there on the other side of the studio. I really should start preparing just in case. Got some comments coming in here on Facebook. Jared Seymour says, "Yeah, use this time as an opportunity." I think that's great advice. I mean, there's a lot of people that probably were really engaged in a project. Or even had started a project. I know, Captain Coop's Beard Company launched late in 2019 and, had started to gain some ground and had to really go from, a business that was trending upwards to, okay, how do we maintain and kind of keep our head above water while our main source of income being barbershops and salons were all closed down. We're like, well, this presents a challenge. How are we going to get through this? But I think, now is a great time to reinvent yourself, find new ways to do things, learning what's going to suit the customer best. That's why I think a lot of the restaurants that have succeeded, and there's been a ton that haven't, but they weren't able to pivot or make those changes for curbside pickup or delivery. And some of those restaurants, even some major chain restaurants, have fallen by the wayside because of the inability to adapt to the environment.
Yeah, you don't want to be another Blockbuster in a time like today. You have to adapt, pivot, and, do what's already happening and use the tools that we already have, like delivery pickups, and all that kind of stuff that's already been implemented for us, versus trying to just, beat a nail into the wall and not get anywhere. You have to adapt and use the tools you have.
Yeah, and I would think the other thing, Coop, that we really motivated us to try to get the ball rolling now into 2021 is, I know the general consensus among people that I talk to and friends and family is that, they're sick of being cooped up in the house, and they're sick of being locked down. And so I think with the spring coming up after this dark winter we've had,
yep.
With the spring coming up, I think people are going to be chomping at the bit to get outside, try new things, do new things. And I think we're going to be in a position to really capitalize on that enthusiasm.
I will say that Blockbuster had the best tweet of 2021 so far when they tweeted out, hey Reddit, what about us? They're like, hey, I don't know who is still in control of Blockbuster's Twitter account. It's like, I don't know who that guy is, but maybe hopefully he's still getting paid. But he's like, hey, Reddit, be cool if you wanted to throw some money at the Blockbuster.
That's hilarious.
Here.
I didn't even. How do they even have a stock anymore? Do they have one store? Or?
It's one guy has the one stock, and then he's also got the Twitter account. It's basically they're trying they're selling off their Twitter followers.
That's funny.
Market them out.
They kept a penny in their Robinhood stock just so they can keep it open, right?
Really? Yeah. I mean, there's somebody hoping to drive it up over $200, and they're like, "I'm out." Thanks for coming. No, we're not opening up your favorite video store anymore. Sorry. That was wild, though. I know. And Dakota, you're into that. You're kind of into the stock market thing. What do you think about this whole Robinhood game?
I'm loving it. I got in a little bit to see what was going on, but I'm more of a safe player, so I decided to keep my money in other stocks that are long term, doing just as well. And I want to keep my money, so I ain't trying to throw it all away.
You think about this whole Bitcoin? Is it Dogecoin? What is what's the next thing? I mean, if Elon Musk is tweeting about it, I'm like,
I was just gonna say whatever Elon says is the next thing.
Yeah, just listen to Elon.
No kidding, right? I mean, I think I just read Tesla bought 1.5 million in Bitcoin, and they're going to start making
billion.
Billion. Yeah.
I thought it seemed a little low for Elon. I'm like, dude, come on. You probably had that in your pocket.
Yeah.
It's 1.5.
It's wild. That Bitcoin's at an all-time high right now. So, I mean, people are catching on to it. They're using it as Tesla, paying Tesla or Tesla stock. I'm not sure the whole literature on that, but it's being accepted by big companies and debit cards, and it's going to be here for a long time.
It's wild. It's a wave of the future, man. Wave of the future. You guys are obviously, I want to talk a little bit about the Adventure Athlete Company, and love the Adam's rocking the shirt. Love that. It's badass. There you go. Boom.
Can't see me, but I'm over here.
Yeah, I got it.
We're both repping.
Tell me about this. Adventure. I know this started a little bit before obviously the fast fuel thing. But where did this come from, and now where do you see it going?
We started really organically. We were just having fun, myself, and going outside, getting outside, mostly because of COVID, and we couldn't go to stores. So did a lot of traveling last year, hiking, biking, kayaking, and it really just started as, I'd say, as a self-identifier, hashtag Adventure Athlete, and people started catching on and hashtagging it back and asking for apparel and asking for a website, and I really didn't have nothing to give them. It was really just it
was just a hashtag.
It was just something fun to do. And so me and Adam, we go outside a lot. We hike, we take a lot of pictures, and we're in the nature, and we're always doing something, right? Hiking or biking. And so we really tag team this together and decided, let's make something out of this. Let's make a brand that can also flow with fast fuel to get people outside. It's really a company about being outside. If you're active, it's you versus you. And we just really want to have fun with it.
Yeah, and I would say Adventure Athlete is kind of open to interpretation, right? So someone's definition of an adventure is different from what mine might be, right? Mm-hmm. So for some people, walking to the mailbox is an adventure for the day, right? So anyone can be an adventure athlete. It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical sport or anything like that. As long as you're getting up, moving your body, and trying to enjoy nature, you can identify as an adventure athlete.
Yeah, we had no mascot, so I mean, it's really you versus you, and you're your only competition with this brand.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's got all the elements that I'm, personally a fan of. Getting outside, breathing clean air, and all that stuff. I think in Wisconsin, I don't, not for you necessarily, Dakota, because I've seen you out ice fishing in this ridiculous ass weather. So kudos to you for that. But I really think it does, for an area that we have all of the natural beauty of Wisconsin, even in the winter. You do have to dig and find it a little bit, but spring, summer, fall, yes, winter a little bit too. There is a lot of outdoors activities, and yeah, they don't have to be all extreme jumping off of stuff or mountain biking or anything crazy like that. I think there is a certain sense of you can become an adventure athlete simply by going out and exploring, kind of the area that's around you. And a lot of places that probably got more exploration this year because you couldn't do anything else really.
Yeah, really. I mean, your only thing you could do was outside. That was allowed.
Yeah.
And it was good social distancing. And I think like every single kayak in Wisconsin was sold out at one time.
Yep.
Swimming pools. I bought the last mountain bike in that like category. It was wild. So we really took the advantage of networking with other people. And I want to give a shout out to Pinehurst Park for just killing it with their new park. And really everybody in this area is like really supportive of each other, especially in the outdoor field. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, Corba as well. The what they do with as far as taking care of the trails and things like that. I mean, I didn't even realize it until this last summer how many amazing trails we have around just in the Eau Claire area. Like forget even state parks or anything like that, but just like
within 20
Corba,
minutes.
Yeah, within 20 minutes, all the Corba maintained trails are absolutely amazing. So they do a great job, and we're adventure athletes going to try to get involved with anything Corba moving forward.
No, I think it's both of your messages that you guys have out with Fast Fuel and with Adventure Athlete. It's great because I think that that's a lot of things that have been overlooked and not really spoken about as far as the national narrative goes during COVID, and that's being healthy, that's getting out and exercising, and the importance of that in your immune system. So I think both of the avenues that you guys have chosen to take are really have a major impact on not only healthy living, but being protecting yourself against bad viruses.
Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, so one of the things that Adventure Athlete is kind of tied to Fast Fuel. We had a kind of tagline that we were kind of monkeying with a while back, which is Adventure Athlete fueled by or powered by Fast Fuel, right? And so when we kind of put those two things together, we thought, well, how can we merge the two business models? And so one of the things that we started doing was we started making adventure challenges, which were basically virtual challenges where people could sign up. They got a swag bag with it, a finisher medal, all that kind of stuff. And they did 5K, 10K. You could run, bike, walk, crawl, kayak, whatever you wanted to do. And then we just encouraged them to, take a short video and then hashtag adventure athlete or adventure challenge, and just to kind of gain some traction. And the first one went really well. We had a very short time to plan it, and we got a lot of good participation. And then the other thing that we're doing with Fast Fuel is in that same building that we're starting out renting e-bikes, and so that people can come rent an e-bike and go explore the 35 miles of paved trail in Eau Claire. And they can take tours of the sculptures. They can take bridge tours, and it's all going to be app-based, and with preloaded maps on whatever they want to do. And so that's kind of going hand in hand with what we're doing at Fast Fuel as well.
And what's nice about that too is our location is right on the trail.
Yep.
It's right on the Chippewa River. It's right across from Boyd Park. So we're super, super connected to the trails where you can get on and off real quick. Head downtown, head north to Chippewa, head up to Altoona, wherever you'd like to go, wherever a bike's accepted. It's super cool.
No, it's awesome. Do you guys have, before I get you guys out of here and on with your day, because I know as an entrepreneur, there's 25 million things waiting for you after this podcast is done, but where can people find you on social media? What should they look at? We'll get the links up in the show notes of the podcast, but where can they find you if they're watching the video right now?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram. That's probably our most active platform, at Adventure Athlete Co, Adventure Athlete CO, and then also for Fast Fuel, it's fastfuel.eau Claire.
Very cool. Adam Schultz, Dakota Yarrington, thank you guys so much for the time and for keeping up the fight, man, during COVID.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Coop.
Appreciate you having us on.
Guys, take care of yourselves, all right?
All right, you too.
Chat soon. These guys are doing great things. I mean, I think that's a lot of people have spoken about that. Thanks to Jared for jumping on with the comment there, but it is the time to get after stuff and to do things and to step out of your comfort zone, because what you're going to see happen, I think, and I know both of those guys would attest to that same thing, is that you will see when things do start to open up, everybody's going to jump the gun. Everybody's going to jump on, either starting a new business or making a move. They paused on waiting, and what you're going to have there is an oversaturation of things. Everybody's been, cooped up, coming up with creative ideas and not acting on them. And all of a sudden you're going to have this influx of ideas and entrepreneurs and people that read a bunch of books while they were in lockdown, and it's going to oversaturate the market. And you're going to find a lot more challenges than, more than likely what you're going to find if you're trying to open things up during COVID-19. So mere advice. I'm just throwing out free 2 cents. You get 2 cents, and you get 2 cents, and you get 2 cents. It is Cooperville Live. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch, whichever platform you happen to be following us. Please jump into the comments, say hi, ask a question. We'll get to all that stuff coming up here in just a little bit. We also have Kyle Yudes coming out from Recipes for Freedom, constitutional law expert, and he's going to be doing we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. There was some things passed here locally as of late that I know he's got some insight on, and a whole bunch more things that you need to know as we get into what is now the almost 11 and a half months of COVID lockdown, getting close to a year. Kind of spooky, but we're going to take a little break and be right back, and we'll chat more. Hold tight, go nowhere. Maybe not. My fun little video is not playing, so we won't take a break. We'll just keep on going. A lot of updates coming in from the Trump impeachment trial that's going on right now. We I don't know, a lot of differing opinions on exactly what is happening in Washington, and is this good for our country? Is this not good for our country? I don't know that anybody really has the appropriate answer, but it does seem like as much as unity has been called for, there does seem to be a lack of trying to unify throughout all this, and the divide continues not only in Washington, but I think across the rest of the country. Perhaps now it's a little less advertised. I guess I couldn't say that because I don't really pay attention to the news. I don't really watch it. Sometimes I accidentally stumble across it. I'm like, oh, this is still on the air. Like, people still watch this stuff. People are still paying attention to the local news when they can grab their fancy device and go, oh, I have all the answers I need right here. I guess it's still a thing. And then of course you have your national news and your 24-hour news cycles. It's I don't know. It doesn't feel like this process is bringing anything closer together. So I have questions about the validity of it, and I have questions about the reason that it would be happening in the first place. But again, I'm no expert. And we're back after that short break. And finally, my video kicked in. That was nice, just unexpectedly. But that's the nature of doing something live, is you never know what's going to work and what's not. It is Cooperville Live here on your Tuesday afternoon, live on Facebook, on YouTube, and Twitch. Please follow the program on all of those platforms as we continue to grow. Still have Kyle Utes coming up from Recipes for Freedom Constitutional Law Group, and we will chat with him about all things going on in the world of the Constitution. So that's on the way. I did want to bring this up. I know my buddy Dan Marcon was supposed to be in here a couple of times, had some technical difficulties getting connected to the stream. It's easy for me to say. But here's the one thing I did want to talk to him about, and it just happened to pull up a new news story from this, and that is HR 127 is a new gun law bill being introduced by a representative from the state of Texas, which doesn't seem like it quite correlates. Like, wait a minute, like I thought when you like cross the border into Texas, they just gave you a gun. Like, hey, welcome to Texas. Here you go. I guess that's not how it goes. So this does come from a representative of Texas, HR 127. So here is what is in front of Congress right now. Not right now, because they're all dealing with the whole impeachment thing, but this will be in front of them eventually. So if this bill passes, this HR 127, new laws would require the Attorney General of each state to keep records of licensed gun owners. So there'd be basically a directory of anybody who owned a firearm, what guns and ammunitions they have in their possession. Okay. Also requires individuals to pass a criminal background check, which I'm all for. Makes sense. We have to do that right now. A psychological examination, which could include, this was an interesting caveat to that, this could include them talking to family members, including ex-spouses. Like, I'm sure sometimes it ends on great terms, but is that really somebody you want to have? Like, hey, do you think? And they're like, no, that motherfucker's crazy. But I digress. If the person has ever suffered from depression, suicidal thoughts, mental illness, homicidal tendencies, they could be denied. Certain individuals will be permitted to own military-style weapons, but it would require a complete government training course. Okay. A federal firearm license would be required for gun collectors to keep antique weapons for display. So even if you have like a bayonet, You'd have to have a license for that. And an $800 registration fee is suggested in the bill. And that would be, I believe, for every single weapon that you own. So if you have two, $1,600. Three, it goes up and on and so forth. There's also, you'd have to pass all this information on to basically every authority in your area, in your district, and then have to let them know exactly where you keep those firearms. So, and this would also be available to the public. Now, I'm not saying that criminals always follow the law, because they don't, because they're criminals, but now you are giving them not only the addresses of people who own firearms, but the exact location within the confines of their home where they are kept. I mean, even if you are not a gun owner, which is fine. I just became one last year. There's a lot of chaos going on in the world. I am a dad. It's one of those better safe than sorry kind of things. Yes, Diane. Yes, ridiculous. But, I mean, can you imagine not only the new stipulation, so it's $800 a year for each weapon, psych eval, which they're going to make you pay for, right? Like everybody's got to be aware that they're not going to be like, oh, here, you take this, it's free. No, they're going to be like, oh, you got to take this psych eval. Say that's another $800. Okay. Then they're going to contact all your people in your family, exes, get their 2 cents on you. Okay. Then they're going to put it all in this nice little online directory with all the people, everybody. And they're going to say, oh, yeah, Cooper keeps his, in this particular location. He has this, this, and this. Here's the address. Something about that in the black and whiteness of the Constitution seems like it doesn't quite. It feels like there's maybe 5 or 6 or 8 violations of civil rights there. I mean, it feels like that isn't. It feels like a probe, and not in the good way. Like in the I don't really ask for this, but that is actually in front, or will be going in front of Congress very soon, HR 127. So even if you're not an advocate for gun rights or gun ownership, I mean, we've already seen what's happened to the First Amendment, and I'm going to talk to Kyle Yudes about this. He's a constitutional law expert. I mean, you've seen the censorship. It amazes me in 3.5 or 2.5 episodes of this show. We're still streaming. I think we are. I'm pretty sure it says we're still streaming. Maybe this is all smoke and mirrors. But you've seen what's happened with, freedom of speech. Censorship is the new black. It's the new color of choice. Now it's the Second Amendment with a little more infringing on, I mean, that's all your information available to anybody who would have the wherewithal to look it up. And it's not like your friendly neighbors are going to care. They're probably like, good. The shit goes down. At least Dudesky over there is prepared. Maybe I'll shovel his driveway and get on his good side. It's more than likely going to be those who are perhaps not law-abiding citizens or law-abiding gun owners that are going to go, now we have a whole list. We have all the information we could ever need to randomly pick and choose where we're going, because imagine how much that will impact black market gun sales. Nobody's going to want to have to go through the rigmarole of, I got to pay a tax on it. I got to give all my information to the government. Everybody's going to know what I have and where it is in my house. No, they're going to go find other ways to do it. Well, are the criminals going to abide by those laws? I don't think that they are particularly. No, they're just going to have all the guns then. Like, wait a minute, we have a law now. Well, that's the difference between law-abiding citizens and criminals. Follows the law, doesn't follow the law. And you're going to probably produce more of those criminals if you start passing ridiculous legislation like HR 127. So we will get Dan Marcon on from Marcon Shooting. Dude's an expert on all those things. I mean, him and I had great conversations when I was going through the process of purchasing a firearm about, I mean, you can't find ammunition right now. It is a real big challenge. They get it in and it is basically gone almost the same day still. And this was 6 months ago. There's a reason for that. It's not because there's a bunch of criminals that are stockpiling, 9mm ammunition. It's because normal gun-owning, law-abiding citizens are going, it feels icky, and I want to be prepared if it starts to get worse. And perhaps with the things that you see across the country with, I don't know, giant fences around the White House, military surrounding federal buildings all the time. Kind of spooky. So just things to be aware of. And it's not one of those things that you get to see a lot if you are one that pays attention to the news, because it's like, the only time you would hear about it is after it happens, after it passes, or if there becomes a major uproar about it. And who knows with the state of government right now, if that it would even happen. You hear about it afterwards. Or when they showed up at your door and said, we need $800 and you to take a psych eval real quick. That's also going to cost another $800. Yeah, we do need that ammo. That you can't even go and I don't even understand how. I mean, I do know that, like, especially at a place like Marcon, you can go and if you take a class, then you can purchase, a box of ammunition, because you really should get out to a range and practice. You want to know how to use your firearm, take a class, take 10 classes, get your concealed carry, do the whole thing, get all the education about your firearm that you can. Huge proponent for that. Be smart about it. But you can't go out and just use the ammo that you have, because you can't get any more. That's the tough part. You got to make, I was talking to people over the course of, fall into winter, because there are some online auctions and places that you can go and find ammunition, but the prices were 10 times more expensive than what they typically would be. Supply and demand, we all learned about that, right? Supply is high, demand is low. Yeah, the prices get raised, and the shortage continues. I mean, they can't keep up with production. It's kind of ridiculous. But again, that knock comes to your door. Hello? Can you come to the door? It's COVID. Well, for this we can. This is okay. We can come to your door face to face, maybe no mask, because this is important. We need your money. We need to know exactly where you're keeping your firearms. Check your smoke detectors while I'm in here too. I don't know. It's a little scary, but just things to be aware of, things to keep an eye on, and maybe change the batteries in your smoke detectors, because I'm sure we'll come and inspect that shit too. Like, hey, since we're here, would you invite us in? Don't invite them in. Don't do it, because they'll come and check all your shit. Be like, this is a violation. You need to change your filter in your furnace. Change the batteries in this. That'll be $800 plus a psych eval, and we need to talk to your ex about your mental stability. I don't know if she's all that reliable. Well, doesn't matter, but you get to pay for it. America, right? Speaking of America, in just under 10 minutes, Cal Yude's Recipes for Freedom. By the way, if you want to find them on Facebook, search for that group, Recipes for Freedom. They're just speaking truth, man. I mean, that's it. And people get a little riled up about it, but it's just factual stuff. It's, you understand your Constitution. It was written. It's the law of the land. They study it, they understand it, and they pass along the information to you. And when you see things that you're like, hey, I'm reading this Constitution thing, the law of the land, and it seems like maybe we're kind of we're not really abiding by these things. And maybe you start to ask a couple of questions, and maybe more people start to ask more questions, and you feel a little bit like you have some people on your side going, well, we have all of our hands raised, and you, the people making the decisions, need to come up with some answers. With some answers. We need them now. So he's going to be coming up here in just a bit. By the way, if you're listening, thank you, Diane and Jared and Kevin and Jody for dropping comments on here. Really appreciate it. Keep those flowing in. If you have questions for Kyle, he's going to be coming up, like I said, in just under 10 minutes. We'll get him on and chat about things that are going on with Recipes for Freedom and groups like it. I mean, it's not just, this local/regional group. It's, part of a network of groups that are not just statewide or region wide. They are all across the country. People are just, they're getting in and they're trying to find out what their rights are as humans as we try to navigate through COVID, and we try to navigate through the decisions that are being made for us. And I think no matter what side you're on whatever debate, the mask debate, the lockdown debate, the vaccine debate, the thing that you really need to do and that you really ought to do is to do your research. There's a ton of people that I know, that I love, that just refuse to do any research besides what is being told to them. Well, Fauci said we should wear 2 masks. And if 2 masks is good, 10's got to be better, right? And you go, I don't know. Maybe we should do some scientific research into this. And that's where you get into a whole bunch of convoluted conversations with people, because now you have science fighting science. Here's this science says this science says that. I don't understand. But people will choose and they will stick their foot in the ground and be like, damn it, this is what I stand for. And you're like, but it's not right. It's wrong. There's no fast track to getting back to normal. I want to get back to normal. Come on. You think normal's around the corner? When does normal show up? If normal shows up at your door, you answer that shit. You welcome him in. Come on, normal. Let's have some beers. Let's watch TV with people that don't live in our house. Let's get wild. Not so sure about that sense of normalcy. People are hoping, well, once we get but I just read Fauci. What did he say today? It was, it doesn't matter. Okay. If you get the vaccine, whatever, you do you. If you turn into a zombie, you know how that plays out, right? You've seen that movie, Zombie Apocalypse, any zombie movie, Shaun of the Dead. You know how it plays out. But I digress. You still have to abide by all of the same rules that you are living by right now, that you're forcibly being told to live by right now. You still have to social distance. You still have to wear a mask, even if you have the vaccine and the second vaccine and the fourth vaccine, and the vaccine to fix the things the first vaccine fucked up. Still, right now he's saying, well, maybe sometime late 2021 we can start to maybe think about not having to wear them. Really? I don't know. At what point is there a revolt? At what point is there a revolution? You want to see this, man? I want to cover. You know how long it took me to grow this? You don't want to cover this shit up? No, I have a beard care company. I don't want to be. I host a live stream podcast. How does this sound? Does this sound good? You like this? No, nobody likes that shit. No. Yeah, take the diaper off. Too much shit in there. Yeah. Honestly, I don't care. If you wear a mask, good for you. If it makes you feel better, that's great. It is about how you feel. Heaven forbid somebody messes with your feelings, because we all know what happens then. And in the cancel culture, this show comes off. We got to start broadcasting, and somebody's just going to write it down, and I'm going to just email it to people, and then they'll shove my email down, then they'll send it to you. I'll get a carrier pigeon, and I'll give you the transcript of the show, and you can sit down and read 3 hours worth of me rambling on about nonsense. Like, I want to get back to fun shit too. I usually go to at least one Packer game every year. Didn't get to do that this year, obviously. Baseball games in the summer, going out, doing things, being active. Yeah. It sucks. But, got to get the hell out of Wisconsin. It's Florida, man. You read all that shit? There was a CNN reporter I don't remember her name because I don't care. But there was a CNN reporter. Get this. So she's down in Tampa Bay. She's covering the Super Bowl. I'm not sure why CNN is down in Tampa Bay covering the Super Bowl. I mean, you think they'd have other great things to talk about on CNN. I guess not. So she's down there covering the Super Bowl. And, if you were in the bowl, if you actually were one of the 22,000, 23,000 people that got to actually go into the game, they required you to wear a mask while you were in there. Unless you're the streaker. That guy didn't have a mask on. He was only covering his junk. That was it. And even at some camera angles, wasn't covering it very well. So there's a CNN reporter who's outside of the stadium down there. Is it Raymond James Stadium? I keep on thinking that. No, that's Joe Robbie Stadium was the one in Miami. I think it's Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. So she's covering the outside stuff. And if you watch any of the pregame, we were watching the pregame a little bit, like Miley Cyrus and Joan Jett, and then Miley Cyrus and Billy Idol. I'm like, this is cool. And besides the fact that some of her band was wearing masks, which I'm like, dude, she's right next to you. Like, if this works. But then they panned back and they showed the crowd. And I'm not sure if that was on accident, like they weren't supposed to do that, but there was a shit ton of people outside of that concert watching it. And I saw 4 masks. 4. And one of them was Darth Vader. Darth fucking Vader was there, man. Probably not really, because I think he died in the third, and that'll be 6. I digress. But the CNN reporter is outside, and she called the fucking cops. She called the police while on TV to report that there was a bunch of people outside of Raymond James Stadium not wearing masks. What? This is your diligent reporting. This is you probably went to some Ivy League school, or at least a really, really fancy JUCO. I don't know. I'm just going to call the police on these guys. It's 40,000 people. I'm going to fucking get them. I'm going to get them. Jeez. That's quality reporting right there. I feel like I'm in the wrong business. I can do that shit. I'll call cops on people all the time. Be like, hey, that guy's wearing a mask. I don't like it. Doesn't make me feel good about things at all. What does make me feel good about things is that my good friend Kyle Hughes is here, and he's back on the show. Kyle, sorry if I know you were sitting back listening to me rant about that, but man,
it's crazy where the world's gone today, hasn't it? I mean, the one thing I tuned in for the halftime show is because people in the house wanted to see it. I was a little disappointed, but the one thing I noticed about that whole thing was the crowd was blurred out because they didn't want to see how many people were actually there. But, God forbid you don't get together for Christmas or Thanksgiving, but hell, go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's fun. It's totally cool. And they had, in order to, this was great. I was listening to the commentary before the game, and they were like, in order to make it feel like there was more people there, you could, for $100, you could send to the NFL because they're hurting for money or something. I don't know. You could send them $100 and a picture of yourself, and they would get you a cardboard cutout and put it in the stands. And so when they did pan back, or when they had the blimp view or whatever, it's like, oh, look at how, half of those are cardboard, and the other 22,000 people were actually real. Yeah. Overpaying for beer, waiting for the speaker.
And those 22,000 were corporate people. So, rules don't apply to them.
No, they're fine. It's a free pass.
Exactly.
If you can afford a ticket to the Super Bowl when only 22,000 tickets are available, you're probably immune. You're probably good.
Yeah.
Cal Hughes, Recipes for Freedom, doing great work and keeping after things. And I've been on a tangent for like 20 minutes about this stupid Super Bowl CNN lady, which I don't know. It boggles the mind. I know you have been busy. I was out with you the other night. We were in front of the Eau Claire County Courthouse. Fantastic speech, by the way.
Thank you.
So Kyle gives a speech. It was on the phone because it's all virtual. There was nobody actually in the fucking building because,
only county around.
we reserve that for people like criminals. Damn it, they can be close to proximity. That's fine. So you had to give your your speech via the phone, And man, it was when you were done, I was like, he's gonna drop his phone. He's just gonna mic slam his phone onto the concrete because it was with authority. And I'm like, oh, he threw down the paper. He kept the phone, didn't throw the paper. I was impressed.
The paper's a little cheaper.
Yeah, I need to replace that phone already. But it's been a wild couple of weeks. How are things on your end doing the good work?
It gets crazier and crazier every day. I mean, we had a run on phone calls, people having the FBI show up at their work or at their home because they dared go to Washington, D.C. on the 6th. And now they're criminals for some reason, even though they were nowhere near the Capitol in that mass of humanity that was there. And then that died down for a couple of weeks, but now it's back for some reason. And then the longer this goes, the more ridiculous the government servants are getting. I mean, we've seen it at Eau Claire County. They blatantly disregard thousands of people calling in, emailing, and do what they want. And the sheriff won't do a thing. In fact, we crafted a letter and had a bunch of people send it to him asking just open an investigation. Let justice take its own course. Nope, not going to do it. So needless to say, between Wisconsin and Eau Claire County specifically, but the rest of the counties I'm helping and Minnesota, it's been crazy. And then you add on top of that all the other parts of the U.S. that we're helping. It's crazy, but it's exciting too because we keep adding new pieces to their team. And we just took on one of the frontline doctors. She's going to be helping us so we can educate people on the vaccines, on masks, on the virus. And so it's coming straight from a doctor who's not trying to politicize it. They just want the actual factual information getting out.
I want to touch on one thing you said about, those people that went to Washington. I heard this thing today. I was listening to a podcast. I want to say it was the Tim Pool podcast. But the feds were working with, I hope I get this right, Bank of America. It was Bank of America. And so anybody who had a Bank of America card that was in Washington, D.C., but their residence was not physically Washington, D.C., so you could have been from Virginia, and unless you're really paying attention, like if you're kind of like rolling the middle somewhere, you're like, man, whatever. Like January 6th, that date isn't like, oh yeah, I know that's always been the date where they ratify like nobody fucking knew that until this year.
Right.
Nobody had any idea. So if you're just randomly like crossing over from Virginia or Maryland or something, you just went into DC, you're like, yeah, the kids aren't in school, we're gonna go and do some stuff, and you used your Bank of America card. Like Bank of America was working with the FBI and giving all the information of anybody who used that bank's credit card in DC on that day or the day before, or had a hotel reserved under that card, giving them all of their information. How in this country is that anywhere close to legal? No,
it's not. It's totally unconstitutional. It goes against your Fourth Amendment right of be secure in your person and your papers. And not only was Bank of America doing it, but several other banks and the hotels. They just, FBI called them up, said, hey, we need to know everybody that's okay. We'll give it to you. No questions asked, But at the same time, the people that were probably being asked were probably coerced or intimidated to do it also. So it doesn't surprise me. We heard that, stories where nobody knew where the person went because they didn't want to cause alarm or, have that problem if they come back to work and, oh, you were out there, you can't work here. And yet the FBI tracked them down. So, and they figured it to their bank or the hotel. So
that's some scary stuff, man. I mean, that makes you reconsider, because if it's DC one day, it's, Minneapolis one day, you're like, wait a minute, like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, man. Me and Elon Musk, man, we're going Bitcoin.
Right. I mean, if it hasn't been noticeable, if you have any other political view or just conscionable view other than the far left and what they're all trying to do, you are under attack. I mean, you are being surveillanced, you are being censored, you are being watched, and they are waiting for anything. And if they don't have anything, they may just figure you're good enough to go. Let's go and arrest you and see what we can trick you into saying, you know. So it's just, we're at war. This is the civil war that everybody was afraid of. It just, there's no bloodshed, and hopefully it never gets to that. But you know, when one political idea or just way of life and just believing in the Constitution, when that is the major offense to another party or another ideology, we're at war.
Right. I think there's a lot of generally there's some confusion because it people they'll put the line in the sand that this is a complete left-right thing. And I think, you know, you mentioned, you know, far left as that extreme. And I think even, you know, when you get into far right, there's some extreme, you know, ideals there as well.
Definitely.
But I think that what everybody, mainstream media, even politics to an extent, what everybody seems to be really missing out on is there's this big chunk called the middle that, you know, you can even lean one way, or in a free country, you can have thoughts are like, well, I agree with this from this side, and I agree with this from this side, but I think the way the fuck out there, that's crazy, and way the fuck out there, that's crazy. Like, everybody's forgetting that this, you know, they've tried to divide it so much into a right-left thing or a red-blue thing that, you know, there's a big giant group, probably larger than both of those fringe edges, that is like, well, I'm kind of this, but I think that what's happening is a little bit messed up. Like, this is a broader thing than just, you know, politically down the middle. It's much broader than that.
Definitely. And I see it when I'm out on the road doing the presentations and educational pieces I do. And we have a lot of people that are Democrat that come to it because they're sick of what's going on. They want to learn what their rights are and what they can do to get out of this situation. You know, you think back, I think everybody gave the governors who said, yes, we're going to close down for 14 days. Everybody gave them the benefit of doubt. I think the majority said, I don't know if we should really do this, but we have to believe it's in their best interest. And here we are almost a year later. And all they've done since then is divide, whether it's race, whether it's the political spectrum or economic spectrum. That's all they've done. And it has to stop because I think people are finally starting to realize it, and really they're tired of it. And there is a bigger number of that right down the middle that they don't care about Biden's politics. They don't care about Trump's politics. All they care about is, hey, I have rights, give them back to me, or there's going to be trouble. And you feel it. You're out in the community, out and about. The tensions keep getting higher and higher and higher. And pretty soon, I mean, what point does it become where it boils over and stuff starts going south real quick? I hate to say it, but I think we're getting closer and closer the longer this goes on. And, you know, it's just unfathomable. We've always said, let's never go back to what Germany did. You know, look at how they treated the Jewish people, or look at how we were before the 60s, or even some after the 60s with minorities. You know, would a sheriff today look at you in a store and say, well, you're not wearing a mask, you can't be in here? That's the same as a sheriff looking at a Jewish person or a minority and saying, you can't be in here. I mean, discrimination is discrimination. And when it's coming from our elected officials, especially the sheriff and any other law enforcement, that it's their job, it's their number one duty to protect and uphold the Constitution and our rights. And they're saying, no, nothing here. You do what I say because I have a badge, you know. Right. It just makes no sense, and it creates that tension, and it elevates it even more.
I was trying to figure out an age. I had Dr. Jay LaGuardia was on one of our previous podcasts that I had with him, and we were kind of talking about when you were younger, um, and not everybody, but a lot of people when you were younger, you had this sense of like always questioning authority. With your parents, when you turn into a teenager, you'd be like, well, do you really know what's best? Not sometimes they did, but your natural instinct was to question authority. With teachers. And then I think as you got older, maybe with a boss, and you go, wait, this, especially if you found yourself in a field where you're like, I think I know what I'm doing and maybe I'm doing it better. So questioning authority was just, it's a thing. And at some point you go, and we're trying to figure out what age do you go, well, they're just right. They're obviously they're an elected official. They must be right. Obviously they're in a position of power, non-elected official, like say you're in charge of the, health department. You're just hired into that position. You're
Right.
just like everybody just hears the narrative and there's no questions asked. They're like, well, okay, yeah, I'm just going to follow along with what's going on. And it takes, and I want to say a small few, because even the last time we spoke, when I had you on the full length podcast, the group was under 5,000. Now it's about closing in on almost to 7, I think, if not over that at this point. So that group grows. And I mentioned this before you came on. It's not just Recipes for Freedom. It's part of this network of groups that around the country of people that are questioning authority. And as those numbers grow, I think you can tell people probably were like, okay, I guess I'll keep following the letter of the law, and I'll keep following what I'm being told. And at some point they got to a day and they're like, this isn't right. Like something about this isn't right. And then the next day happened and they got further and further away. And then they said, okay, I'm going to go out and educate myself on what's really going on here. What are the rights and what is exactly being violated?
Yeah, definitely. I just put together an educational piece and I came across a quote. It only takes one person to stop and question what's going on and is it right or wrong for other people to stop and go, wait, what's that person say? And then it becomes more and more, it becomes that movement. And you're exactly right. There are so many patriot groups around this country. And I say patriot groups just because all they want is the rule of law and the Constitution. It doesn't matter anything else. That's all they care about. They don't really, the election, that'll take care of itself. They are only concerned about the Constitution. And educating these businesses and law enforcement. I actually have a call a little bit later with Sheriff Mack, who took on the Supreme Court, him and Sheriff Prince. Back in the 90s, they took on the Clinton administration, and he's still living. That's a big plus right there, right?
That should be on a T-shirt that he wears. Like,
right?
Still living.
Yeah, his organization is all about constitutional sheriffs and peace officers and restoring the order and educating them. So there's so many different levels of just trying to bring this back in the grassroots effort to empower we the people all across the country. It's inspiring, and it's also sad and scary that we're at this point,
How big of a challenge is it? Because I know it is, even from my position. Well, as this show grows and develops, and more guests come on, and I know you have to deal with this in conversations with business owners who are very willing to sign a piece of paper, but when it actually, I don't want to say it comes to even coming to a protest or anything like that, but when it comes to actually making a stand, coming on a program like this or going on any other program and actually saying how they feel, that has to be a huge challenge, because it feels like, because of the environment and because of how the cancel culture that exists, and even if it's one voice speaking out against such and such an owner of this business says, like, I think this is bullshit, that one person can go, well, I'm no longer going to support this business. I was a lifelong, like, how challenging is that for you? Because you have these people who know that restrictions that are currently in place are affecting their business, could essentially, and have in some cases, close their business down, in some other cases permanently, yet still not be willing to really take a stand and be vocal. Because I think sometimes people are just waiting for that one person to be like, Yeah. Okay. I've been thinking that, but I wanted you to say it first. How challenging is that for you in your position right now?
That is the challenge. Just let's go back to Eau Claire County. We have over 1,000 people who signed on to the cease and desist to our county and city board members, the city and county attorneys, and the health department saying, "Hey, stop! These are the laws you're breaking. Federal crimes. We don't authorize that." And yet, if they come and demonstrate, I mean, we have 104,000 plus in Eau Claire County. We had 100 people at the rally, because a lot of these businesses and people are being coerced and intimidated. They're being strong-armed by the health department. I can name probably 20 right offhand that have come to me and said, "Hey, I love what you're doing, and please help me fight this, but I can't show my face because I have to worry about my clients and this and that." Which to a point I get, but at what point are you going to cower and be, just allowing these people to run your life and ruin your business? What is your freedom really worth to you? And that's the message that we're trying to get out. And the sad thing is, when we go to our elected officials that have the power to do something, the majority of them, not all, but the majority are saying, "Well, there's really nothing I can do. Just email my office, call the office, do this or that, the same old stuff." And that's another growing sentiment, is the establishment that's out there is just not happening. It's bad. And they're doing everything to oppress us and just keep everything honky-dory because they're worried about their power, and we have to stop. I mean, we have a gubernatorial candidate that is out there already in Jonathan Wickman, that he's working with the representatives and the Senate, trying to, get some type of situation under control. And he's doing everything he can, and yet nobody will recognize him. And he's the only guy that's running, and he's official. He has all his papers in. It's stuff like that is really bothersome, when there's people actually out there working hard to do what they can, and they're just getting swept under the rug because they're not the establishment. And that's on both sides. There's Democrats that really want change, and whatever they're pushing, they get swept to the side too. So it's a real problem. And I think that's a lot of the frustration, where you get the third party talk viable. Yeah, not really. But at the same time, you understand the frustration, because we need something to change. And the only way to do that is to, go through the steps to get justice. But when the corruption is so blatant and right in your face, we're running out of options awfully quick. And it's frustrating. It is hard to get those people to stand up and say, "Hey, damn it, that's enough. I'm done." And until we do, there's a few voices. We can be loud, but we won't get the attention. But you put all those voices together, and it'll be deafening.
Let's get Wickman on the show. Get him on here.
Yeah, I'll get you hooked up. He's a great guy.
Well, I think that's, we've been through so much, I think, just in the last couple of weeks. Well, not even a couple of weeks, but last week with, the repeal of the emergency order and the mask mandate. And then 19 minutes later, another, I'm like, we just waiting, nothing else going on, nothing else to do. Right. Okay, cool.
Just imagine if there was a law enforcement officer in that county that had more power than the governor. Oh, by the way, there is. It's called the sheriff. That would say, "Hey, look, your immunity, your qualified immunity, it goes bye-bye when you knowingly break and willingly break established law." So he could arrest him for violating these well-established laws, but he's too worried about that paycheck. He's too worried that the people might say something bad about him.
It does, and this goes back to what I said about, people of influence, or people who are, business owners or major business owners. And it's that fear of, if I put my face and I put my words and I do something, that is a call to action, or I'm the one making the action, that they're going to have to face the ridicule. And that could be in, losing an election. It could be in losing a job, but it feels like, and I think you're reiterating that, like nobody is willing, besides people that are like you and that are in your group, to go, well, then I guess we're just gonna have to build up this coalition of regular people, because nobody above, and that whole, the city council thing and the county and then the sheriff thing boggled my mind, just the blatancy of it. Unanimous, and they're not going to do anything. I mean, it's scary that nobody is standing up for anything, even to have, I mean, maybe open, I want to say open dialogue. You got a chance to speak, and that was it. You said your 2 cents. More than, that's probably like $1.50 is a lot more than 2 cents. But a lot of factual things, a lot of, information that came across. And it feels like all of that, and you weren't the only one that spoke. There was a ton of people that spoke, teleconference, whatever. And it feels like nobody was listening, and the letters with thousands of signatures and nobody's paying attention. It's like, oh, well, this is just the way it is. And it feels like that this should encourage more people to be like, I'm raising my hand because I have some questions why nobody's doing a damn thing.
Right. And when you're not allowed to be there in person, they don't see that hurt. They don't see the pain. It's too easy to cut the humanization out of it. And they can hide. They're the keyboard warriors hiding behind, their computer and saying whatever they want, doing whatever they want. When you got them face to face, they have to look at you, and they have to be more accountable. And they're absolutely not. I mean, I watched the webcast with the city council, and the city council president, Terry Weldy, he's just walking around doing stuff as people are talking. Yeah, I wanted to grab him and tell him, sit down and listen. That's his job. But nope, he's sitting around, he's on his computer doing different things. And granted, he had to be the person to call the next person up. But at the same time, he was doing more than just looking to see who was there. And that's frustrating. Then you got the county board, who the county seat actually asked the county council, what about all this law stuff? And they said that there's nothing that can be done until a fine is actually given out. And then the likeliness of legal action would be low. You would think that they would look into that a little bit, and you heard my speech. I outlined exactly what is wrong and what is unlawful, and they don't care. That's the bottom line. They don't care. And until we can make them care, which we're working on, it's not gonna change. So we either have to have them arrested, which we have a corrupt sheriff in Eau Claire County, and I have no qualms about saying that. I can provide you over 20 years of corruption with this guy, and it's out there on the internet. So he's not going to arrest them. So we have to go a different route, and they have insurance policies that are errors and omissions policies, and boy, did they make a big error. And so we're looking into that, as well as looking into civil lawsuits against them. What else can we do?
Lots of stuff to digest. I got a question here from Nicole jumping on. Thanks for watching. Other people say, what's the worst that could happen? Kyle, can you give an example of what could happen if this all continues? It's a great question. People always say, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, if this continues in the fashion and the narrative that it is, I mean,
we're already going down that slippery slope from 14 days to almost a year to now you have to wear masks, despite all the science, despite all the research out there, where experts are no longer experts. It's just their opinion. Now the vaccine, that's not even a vaccine legally or medically defined as a vaccine. What's next? I say that the mask is a new yellow star in your sleeve or the new color of your skin, because that's where the discrimination is coming. What's next? Re-education camps? They're already talking about that. there's COVID camps in Europe. There's COVID camps in New Zealand, where if you don't go along to get along, you're put in these camps until you understand and you come out saying the right thing and doing the right thing. So, literally, what's next? We've seen it. It was called, the Third Reich, basically. It was called Chairman Mao, Che Guevara, Stalin, all the bad stuff that can happen. We are headed that way. And again, I go back to people that don't agree with the way things are, the narrative out there, they're being hunted down. We are living that time of what's next. It's just a matter of how far they're willing to go and how far they can go before people finally stand up and say, nope, now we're gonna pick up the Second Amendment.
And people will say, because that's what people do. Well, that could never. I mean, that would never happen. And you just gave 4 examples. It has happened, but people have this, because we've had it so good, and people maybe not, witness, they don't see that, but overall, it's been all right. Life hasn't sucked, especially in the United States. Now we've had tough times. We had Y2K. We had 2008. We've all kind of gone through things, and there felt like more of a sense of unity, where right now there is a huge, almost forced division, and not even division into two. I mean, it's the pie is being sliced and diced into many different factions, and some people are aware of it. You're obviously aware of it. I'm aware of it. Some people are starting to become aware of it, but it feels like the majority of people are like, man, it's fine. I'll just wear my mask, and I'll just, if I want to get on an airplane, I'll have a test. And if I want to, go see grandma, I'll, put on the full body suit, the hazmat thing, Darth Vader mask, whatever they need. Like, this will just be, and they keep on kicking the date down. I mentioned before you got on, Fauci's now saying, well, maybe even after you get double vaccine or triple vaccine, or you get another vaccine to take care of the first vaccine that didn't really do anything, so now you have 6, whatever. It could be the end of 2021. Maybe then masks won't be, a thing. And everybody's like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like,
yeah, let's believe the guy that's profiting off of this, who's still on Bill and Melinda Gates' board, who's still on the World Health Organization's board and several other boards. Dr. David Martin, who's a part of the Constitutional Law Group, he just came out with a 205-page dossier on Fauci and how this goes against so many different laws, well-established laws, and gives the timeline from the 80s, I believe, all the way up to now. And over 5,100 different companies that have in some way either applied for a patent of some part of SARS or the vaccine part of it. Over 51 companies since the 90s. Fauci himself, Bill and Melinda Gates, they back in 99 started applying for patents on the SARS virus. Well, the reason that should throw flags is because SARS wasn't a recognized virus until 2003. So yeah, I mean, let's put that math together. But the biggest thing that just blows my mind, and all I can say is I'm there with you, is I have people from all over the world that come and listen to me speak, or will reach out to me, say, I came from East Germany, I came from Russia, I came from communist Slovakia and China and Thailand, places that are very strict and very little liberties. And they're saying, what the hell is happening here? This is not America. This is not what I was told. This is worse than where I had it before. And the overwhelming thing that I keep hearing is, even though we're in a communist country, we didn't really know it until we did something where here, it'd be a little infraction and you get a little slap on the wrist or nothing at all. But there, they came down with the iron fist. So until it was time to exercise our rights, we didn't really know we're in a communist country. They're like, we can definitely tell we're in a communist country now, but this is America. It's not communist. Explain the difference, and I can't. Has been the biggest eye opener to me when I have these people come to me and tell me this. How far can we go? We're there. The only thing that needs to change is the flag, basically.
Right.
Who are we really under?
It feels like, and I want to get your thoughts on this too. It feels like there is a demonization that is going on, and I think part of it when I was talking about the gal from CNN who decided to phone the police in the middle of a story about being at the Super Bowl. There's a demonization that's going on. I think about not necessarily anti-vaxxers. I don't think that I think you can be all for the polio vaccine, and I think you can be all for the different types of things, but I think you can be against this one, or you don't believe in masks, or you've done your research and you realize that they don't help as they're being told that they help. But mainstream media and even people who I thought were like super reasonable and super smart, even when presented with facts, will demonize somebody who is not either wearing a mask or they're not, knocking down the front door to get the vaccine. How much is that adding to this division that's happening with all the demonization of those who are questioning what's happening, are questioning the laws, are questioning the lockdowns, are questioning the mask mandates? It feels like it's pushing the wedge even further between the sections of society, just with well, that person's bad because they're not following the laws that we have, or fake laws, whatever you want to call them, that we put forth upon the people.
Right. They're following the teachings of Joseph Goebbels to a T. Propaganda. Demonize. These people are bad because they question it. These people are bad because they have knowledge of something, but we've given you a different view, so you should listen to that because it's for the greater good. That kind of thing. It really is done on purpose and is frustrating. Yes, there's people a part of this movement that are absolutely against masks no matter what. And there's people in this movement, and the majority of this movement doesn't give a damn if you wear a mask or not, doesn't give a damn if you want to get a vaccine or not. What they care about is, I have the choice to choose for me. You have the choice to choose for you. What I do is none of your damn business, and what you do is none of my business. And it's so fun to watch the hypocrites that say, hey, look, when it comes to women's right, my body, my choice. But when it comes to anybody else's right for any other reason, nope, you have to do what's good for the greater good. Makes no sense, So it comes to a lot of educating and just cutting that, what the objective is going to be, what, the gatekeeper is going to say. You just knock it down right away and educate them and say, look, this isn't about not wearing a mask or wearing a mask. This is about rights. And I don't know how much of the city council or the county board meeting you heard, but the people that were against it always said, this isn't about rights, when that's exactly, and the only thing it's about. People don't care. And that's the recurring. And even the people that will go out and put on a good face and wear a mask, as soon as they see other people not, they rip it off and they say, I hate this thing. And where does it go? Their back pocket, on the bar, on the table, on their dashboard where it's all dirty and that. And then what do they do? Oh, I got to put it back on. So really, what good is that doing? Yeah.
I know some of those. Yeah. I mean, you've seen, film, or you've seen videos of people, it's like, I'm not going to catch COVID if I wear a mask walking into a restaurant, but when I sit down, it's totally like the logic is like, people have become like so like numb to it. They're like, well, yeah, that also makes sense, because when you're sitting instead of like, no, dumbass, like that.
Right.
It makes the difference is zero on the whole thing. But what people will.
And if you think about the science of a mask, they're only rated for so much your normal breathing, right? So if you sneeze or cough or breathe heavy, where does that air go? It goes straight through or it goes out the sides.
Hmm.
It only takes a really minute amount of virus to infect somebody. So even with the mask, you're not doing any good. You know what we really need, because this is how this society has gone. We need more people in the celebrity status to step up and say, hey, look, this is wrong. You know, the lead singer of Bad Wolves, or the former lead singer of Bad Wolves, he was doing a great job. And then he kind of got squashed. But, you know, that's just one example. Going back to the 80s, Ricky Schrader, you know, he's doing a lot. You know, we've actually reached out and we've been in contact with him, trying to get some stuff put together, but he's getting a lot of backlash right now. But if we get more people that have that celebrity stepping up and speaking out, I think you'll see a lot more people that are kind of hiding in the shadows come forward and say, yeah, that's right. We've had enough.
Yeah. Gina Serrano. She's the badass chick on The Mandalorian.
Oh, yes.
You know, she had come out and said some things that were, you know, about anti-mask. And I know that she recently posted something, which was a man with it was a dollar bill over his face and it was duct taped around him. You know, so she said some things that got such backlash. So here you have The Mandalorian, which, whether you're into it, you know, the Star Wars thing or not, was this huge thing for the Star Wars series, for Disney, and really launched all of these other now Star Wars things that are coming out. I think even like the MCU got into it. Now they're doing WandaVision. There's these Falcon and Winter Soldier. All like it was the creation of this series. So she says something that is, you know, against the narrative of, you know, mask wearing. And I mean, there were calls for her to be kicked off the show, and you know, and Gina Serrano, you know, just like this ridiculousness because she voiced her opinion on Twitter or Instagram or something like that. And Jon Favreau, who is, you know, the man behind The Mandalorian, comes out and says, no, like we're not writing this person out of the script because you don't like what she said or she has a different viewpoint than you do. He's like, something about, this is America. We can agree that we can have different opinions on things and not be like, no, I don't like what you said, you're now canceled. So I know she was a big advocate and somebody in the limelight that stepped forward. And I know that post of the dollar bill over the face was a recent one that she put up, but it's in a world of cancel culture, it is good to see that, you know, somebody will stand forward and say, like, no, we're not shutting it down. We're not closing the door on this person because they don't agree with mask mandates or lockdowns.
And that's huge coming from Disney. You know, because Disney is very progressive. They're very cancel culture. So that's a huge statement, you know, and I think had The Mandalorian not saved Disney or the Star Wars franchise, may have been a different result, but you know, money always talks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how it all went down, but you know, when the guy whose creation it was, obviously he took the Star Wars, you know, ideas, you know, the Lucasfilm concept, and created this fantastic series that, I mean, it brought us fucking Baby Yoda. It brought Luke Skywalker back to life, man. What are you talking about? Sorry if I ruined the end of season 2 for anybody there, but
I just watched it last night.
Yeah, fucking amazing, an amazing show. So, but if you have a guy like Jon Favreau who will stand up and say, no, I'm not rewriting Cara Dune out of this show. Now they're talking about he's creating a spin-off for her character alone. Yeah. Imagine him standing up to Disney execs and saying, really? Then I'll walk. And maybe he probably has, you know, probably doesn't have creative control over that show, but he's like, fine, then you go ahead and find somebody else to bring this to life. So, I mean, I'm not sure how that went down, but it feels like, because knowing Disney, ABC, ESPN, all the way down the line of that, you know, ever growing, I don't want to call it a monopoly just yet, but it's getting there to controlling what you watch. But I mean, if Favreau did that, dude, I'm voting that guy for president. Like, yeah, that motherfucker stands out for people.
Yeah.
In the face of major money. That's crazy, though.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
What is your, like, right now, I mean, it's been a wild, week and a half for you. Where does your fight stand now? I mean, what is like the next steps? I know you got some speaking engagements coming up, some events. The group continues to grow, but like, where's the big fight right now? Your biggest challenges as we move forward in this whole mess.
So right now we are pressuring the Eau Claire County Sheriff locally here to actually do his job. And we sent him a letter asking for an investigation, highlighted and outlined exactly the federal laws that were broken. And he came out yesterday and said, no, not going to do it. And so we're giving him one more chance. And we're going to get as many people to send him emails or sign on to a letter saying, hey, we want you to open an investigation. Here's your duties. Here's what you're supposed to do. Oh, by the way, if you don't, you're now on that list of criminals and crimes. And then if he doesn't, then we start to ask him to resign, and we if we have to, recall the sheriff. So, those are two very viable options, because quite frankly, if we don't stop our law enforcement from committing crimes, then this is going to go on, and we're going to have less and less ability to do so in the future. Our kids aren't going to be able to do it either, and it's going to kill our county. It's going to kill our city in the long run too. So that's kind of where the focus is, along with taking legal action against the city and county boards, against the health department and the city and county attorneys. We're working on that. All this stuff takes a little bit of time. There's a process to it. So we're also at the pleasure, let's just say, of government, because we have to do open records requests and everything. So that on the local level, beyond just trying to grow the group, to educate people and teach them how to educate others. So, yes, I'm out there traveling around Wisconsin and Minnesota doing this, but I want to be able to teach other people so they can do it. And so they can control their local areas or their regions and go out and do it. Because once we do that and we educate people, there comes a time where either we're going to rise up or we're going to be educated enough where this never happens again. And that's the ultimate part for it. And then state-wise, we're still working on trying to pressure the federal judges who have affidavits in front of them for Evers, Barnes, and Palm to give a summary judgment so we can continue that process of getting rid of the acting governor. And, it may be that we have to vote John Wickman in before anything else. But, that is in front of federal judges. And then again, on the nation level, we're just growing our team, answering emergency calls, helping businesses stay open, fight these unlawful and unconstitutional mandates, and educate people there as well. So it's a lot going on, and I'm going to need a vacation. I'm still looking forward to Chippewa Valley Music Fest. I got to get away for a few days and just, listen to some good music, or just the family reunion that it is. I can't wait.
No, man, same here. Same. Looking forward to June and July with both festivals. But, and Kyle, you have a full-time job. This isn't like, you're, and on top of that, I mean, this just, I think, shows the level of dedication that you have to this cause, is that you're working, and then you're working on this, and you got a wife, and you got the kids. You're not just like, I'm just, I got nothing else going on in my life. I figure I may as well, take up this constitutional law group.
Right.
I think, it's a testament to how dedicated you are to the cause, and it's great to see all the people that are joining, not just the group, but the influential people that are becoming a part of it, with doctors and sheriffs and, people that, with law backgrounds. I mean, I think that's important, because it's validity. It adds validity to what you're doing when you have people, with some clout, if you will,
Right.
in your corner. And it helps with that education process too, because there's so much good information that you post on there and other people post inside of the group. So kudos to you for all you're doing, man, and keep fighting the good fight.
Well, I appreciate it.
Let's get Wickman on here, man.
I'll forward you his information.
I'm sure he would love it. We'll talk about rock and roll and politics and shit. It'll be great.
There you go.
Recipes for Freedom on Facebook. Go and join the group. They will vet you. So if you're a troll, damn it, stay out. But
that's right.
If you want to learn and you want to know what's going on and really educate yourself, do the research. It's a great resource. So Kyle Hughes, thank you so much for your time, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Coop. Have a great night.
We'll be in touch. There you go. Kyle Hughes, Recipes for Freedom. Please just go and check out the group. I mean, the information, that's the most important thing. I think that's what we've been trying to reiterate over the course of all this, is that at least have a knowledge base, at least have some factual information, not just about the Constitution, but about science and about laws and about the laws that are being trampled on. Know these things. So when you're out spouting off on your social media about, random things, at least know that you're in the wrong. At least know that, what is happening is not okay. Again, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch for now. They haven't pulled the plug on us yet. I'm pretty impressed by that. That's actually, I feel good about that. Going to take a short break and we'll be right back. More to conversate on, and we'll talk about tomorrow's big show as well. So stand by, as it only gets better from here. And we're back. Cooperville Live into our last hour here, almost, just about 5 o'clock Central Time. Big thanks out to Kyle Yates, Recipes for Freedom, for joining us. Again, look at their Facebook group, Recipes for Freedom, and join up, get yourself educated on a bunch of stuff. A couple of comments to get to. Diane's like, I'm getting out of Wisconsin. Go to Florida for a couple of weeks, enjoy some freedom. Yeah, go down there. Make sure you don't find that CNN reporter that's calling the cops on people for not wearing masks down in Florida. Right? I don't think they have a state mandate. I think it's fine. Regardless, it is it's National Pizza Day. Let me just lighten the mood. Today is National Pizza Day, so if you are looking to break yourself from all the craziness going on in the world, go get yourself a pizza, order it up. Deep dish, thin crust, New York style, Chicago style. That was a debate this morning. My buddy Phil was having that on his Tuesdays with Max Built, Facebook Live video, Max Built Off-Road and Manufacturing. Every Tuesday morning they go live and they make bacon, they talk shit. It's good times. They're having that debate about pizza, like Chicago style or New York style. You know, I think I've had Chicago style pizza once. I want to say it was somewhere down in Wisconsin Dells. So I'm sure it was, well, and maybe it was somebody trying to get out of Chicago, you know, trying to hide from, but I don't know. It's a lot of fucking sauce, man. It's just give me the meats, yo. Just give me the meats. National Pizza Day. If you're getting pizza, let me know what you're ordering. Comment on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Twitch.tv/No Limit Cooper, as well is the browser base if you don't have the Twitch app, which you can download for free, which you really should, so we can help the show grow on the Twitch. And we're going to be doing some cool live stuff exclusively on Twitch once we get the show up and rolling, try to get through our first week here. And we'll talk about tomorrow's show here in just a bit. I did just have a chance during the break to check out the headlines. And the big story today was obviously that they were voting today on whether or not the impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump was constitutional or not, given the fact that he is no longer president. He is the former president. Is it still constitutional to impeach somebody who is not the president? Obviously, this is seemingly a ploy. I'm going to say ploy, because whatever. But they don't want him running again in 2024. So, but it did just come down that they did vote that it is constitutional. So they will be proceeding again with the impeachment trial. I think like each side gets 16 hours over the course of the next couple of days to present their case. And then I think If witnesses get brought in, it goes longer, and really it just costs a shit ton of money. That's it. That's all. And anytime something like this happens, not anytime, but usually when there's something major that the news tries to capture on you, there's always like something else going on, like what is this distracting me from over here? Like, is it aliens again? Because like I'm hopeful. That's really all I'm relying on. Is just a big distraction from the fact that there's some, alien mothership that's hovering over the Pacific. And we're like, don't look over there. Don't look out to sea, man. You don't want to see that. Oh, look over here. We're going to impeach a former president. What's over? Don't look over there. It's the alien mothership coming down to collect. I mean, that's my hope. Not saying it's real. I'm just saying I'm hopeful that's the case. So that's the latest on the whole impeachment thing. But the best thing from the internet today, and if you saw this, if you haven't, if you are on Facebook, go to the Welcome to Cooperville page. I did share this. Barstool Sports posted it, but there was this happened in Alpine, Texas. A West Texas judge has a word of caution to those attending court hearings on Zoom, because everything is done via Zoom now. Millions of times I've had this conversation over the course of this podcast. Like, man, if we only knew that Zoom was going to be like the next best thing ever, everybody would have thrown money at Zoom. Probably would have been blown up on Reddit. We'd all been rich. But I digress. So they do like court hearings on Zoom now. They got the plaintiff is here and the judge is here and the attorneys are here. So anyway, Zoom tried to get fancy, right? And they added filters, like Snapchat has filters and Instagram has filters. And I don't know, I think everything has a filter now. So this judge shows up to this court hearing, and I believe it was just the judge and then the two attorneys. There were only three people in the actual image. So the judge is on, he's in the corner, and the other attorney, he's like in this corner. And then the third attorney, or the attorney for, I'm guessing the defendant, that poor bastard, somebody had turned the cat filter on, so it looked like a talking cat. And the judge is like, I believe that's a filter that you have on. And the guy's like, I don't know. My assistant's here trying to get this off, but I'm here. I'm real. I'm not a cat. It's just hilarious. This obviously very official looking judge, because that's the look, right? Official, important. And the other attorney on the top is like, what the fuck is going on here? And then there's this dude. It's just a cat face, talking cat. Like, no, really, I'm not a cat. I am the attorney. Like, how much confidence then? And this was the quote from Barstool Sports. How much faith do you have in that defense attorney? You're like, dude, this fucker can't even turn off the cat filter. That's a little nerve-wracking. But it's hilarious. So go to the Welcome to Cooperville Facebook page. I shared it on there. It's just, yeah. This is the world we live in. Like, that doesn't happen if it's not COVID, right? Because dude is in a courtroom. If your attorney shows up in an actual courtroom in person and live, and he's dressed like a cat, you may want to ask for different counsel. Like, Your Honor, I do not feel like I'm being appropriately represented by my attorney, Mr. Felix the cat. I don't feel good about this. No, this is just the shit that happens in COVID, and everybody gets bored and they decide to put filters on things. Weird. Like the ears thing. I see that sometimes. Even like people will take screenshots of their picture, and they're like you're not a dog, you're not a cat, you're not a deer. Oh, look at my little, like, no, you're not. I mean, we already have enough identity crises going on in the world. You're not cat, dog, or deer. I identify as a deer. Oh, okay. What does that mean during November? I can, like, no. It's a Wisconsin hunting joke thing. Like, don't. Like, I'm just kidding. But, I mean, if you want to identify as a deer, you kind of got to deal with what the deer have to deal with, and that's hunting season and venison jerky, which is delicious. and extremely healthy. Same. If you're gonna fight the fight, you got to understand the rules. Another great thing I posted, and I wanted to get off of the whole political, the hot button stuff, because like I said, I'm literally surprised they still have us on the live stream. I figured they would have pulled this off, I don't know, on Friday, about halfway through, but here we are. We're still doing it. The Snyder cut of Justice League is, I think they're doing filming for it right now, but they just released the updated photos of Jared Leto's character as the Joker. If you saw Suicide Squad, and a little bit of Justice League, I think the beginning, when they kidnap Harley Quinn, or they arrest Harley Quinn, I should say. Jared Leto's Joker character, which I thought was fantastic. I don't give a shit what anybody else says. I thought it was great. The Joker has evolved over the course of anybody who's ever played the Joker, just like Batman does. But the Joker has been a little more extreme. Obviously, I think Jack Nicholson was still the best, but I also think Michael Keaton was the best Batman. So maybe I'm biased to the original Batman movie from the 80s. But the Jared Leto character really was, I thought it was super well done, super erratic. I mean, like, you would picture the Joker in like 2017, whenever that movie came out. Really bright green hair, all combed back, the gold teeth, the tattoos all over. He had the laugh, the smile hand tattoo on his hand. And he was like, really thought it was incredible. Most people hated it. Those are the same people that thought the Joaquin Phoenix Joker was like, he was the best. Well, it was like that's a completely different character. That really stepped outside of the context of the Joker character in relation to Batman and DC Comics. It was completely different. Great movie, but I thought Jared Leto's character as the Batman, as the Joker in Suicide Squad and in Justice League, was really well done. Very eccentric, very Jared Leto. I thought it fit. But now with the Snyder cut of Justice League coming out, because everybody hated Justice League, wasn't the greatest, wasn't the worst, it was okay. So now Jared Leto's character, the tattoos are gone, like the bright green hair is gone. It's kind of long, kind of little Joaquin Phoenix from the Joker movie, a little more dark. I don't know. I like it. It's a weird stretch. I know the Snyder cut is supposed to be like super, super badass, but I don't know. I also posted a picture of that on the Facebook page, the Welcome to Cooperville Facebook page. So you can go and check that out. Again, if you have any 2 cents on that, feel free to jump in the comments. I mean, is there any argument that Michael Keaton was the best Batman? There were some rumors, and I think maybe some pictures that perhaps Michael Keaton was coming back as Batman. I think Ben Affleck is going to be in the Snyder cut. Obviously, there's a Robert Pattinson who's going to be in The Batman. Michael Keaton, I don't care. Dude, come back. He's going to do Beetlejuice 2, and he's going to become the Batman again. My childhood fantasies of continuing on the legacy of the greatest Batman of all time, they continue, and I'm pretty excited about that. So whatever your thoughts are on the Batman, on pizza, feel free to jump in the comments, leave a comment, ask a question. We'll get you on the screen here. Good times will be had by all. Do want to mention that coming up on tomorrow's show, Joey Arima is going to be back on. I had him on a podcast a while back. Fabulous artist, great human being. He is going to be back on, and we're going to chat about some new projects that he's got in the works. He actually messaged me the first night we did the show and was like, dude, I need to get back on. And I was really excited to have him on. So he's going to be on tomorrow afternoon. Dan Beck, my longtime friend and CEO of Midwest Meals, he is coming on. Great entrepreneur, a motivator. Dude gets after it in so many ways. Very inspirational fella. And I know he has his 2 cents on what's going on with COVID as well. So hopefully we'll be able to get it out of him. That's coming up tomorrow. And I believe Corky Gangsford from Code Red Riot, he was also drumming in the Blue Man Group out in Vegas for a long time. He is going to be on. They have a new song, I believe, that drops next week. So super excited for tomorrow's show. If you missed the beginning of the program, I mentioned this and I wanted to bring it back up just because I find the hilarity in it. The best part of the Super Bowl and I've ranted on about, maybe it was, I mean, am I forwarding and saying that Miley Cyrus and Billy Idol was like, that was really cool. Miley Cyrus and Joan Jett, that was pretty cool. That was before the Super Bowl. That was the pregame show. But the greatest part, and probably the most memorable part of the Super Bowl, was the dude that streaked. Jumped the stands. They actually caught him on the live feed of the game. Usually they try to avoid that. Like they'll cut cameras and they'll go to black screen, or they'll go to the booth, go to the sidelines, because they don't want to encourage other people at any sporting event to think that they're going to get some sort of notoriety. Apparently, all these people forget that we live in the age of the cell phone, where there's every camera angle of that dude streaking on the. He didn't really streak. I mean, he had on the black shorts and the pink Borat onesie thing, the cup holder. I don't know. And I mentioned yesterday, I'm like, man, that guy wore that all day, preparing for that moment. He knew that's premeditated. He knew that was going to happen. Jump out, rip the shirt off, pull the shorts down, and you're running down Super Bowl 55, middle of the field, in a bright pink Borat onesie. But here's what I mentioned in the open, in case you haven't been hanging out for over 2 hours now. He actually won money for doing that. How did he win money for doing that? The prop bets that happen before every Super Bowl. You can bet on everything from what color Gatorade they're going to dump on the coach, how long the national anthem is going to be. Will this thing happen during the halftime show? And you can bet on, obviously the more stat-based things too, like which running back will have close to 100 yards. Will so-and-so have? So you can just throw some money down and win. One of those prop bets happens to be, will somebody streak across the field during the game? That dude bet money and won about $375,000 on himself. That's genius. That's being in control of your own destiny. He knew it was going to happen because he's like, I'm going to be the guy that does it. He probably got a bunch of friends together. Was like, here's the deal. We each throw in $1,000, bet money, whatever the odds were, and I'll do it. Then he has to convince those friends, though. That's got to be a tough conversation. Like, you're not going to fucking do it. Yari, you're not going to do it. I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to do it. I am. Okay. And he finally convinces them. Throw in the money, place the prop bet. All right, man, what you got to do in this pink Borat onesie? Ah, shit. Okay, fine. But I get 51% of the cut. And he does it. Streaks across the field, makes a couple of nice football moves. A lot of ass cheek flying around. Almost makes it to the goal line. Gets tackled. It's a nice tackle, by the way, by that official. Not official, but whatever, the security, some dude looked official. I believe his bond was $500 to get released from the jail, which I'm sure they have inside of Raymond James Stadium. I know that at Lambeau Field they have a jail inside, because if you've been to a game at Lambeau, but there's some drinking going on, like 6-7 hours before kickoff during the game. Yeah, things can get rowdy. So I'm sure there's a jail underneath or inside the guts of the stadium. So he probably ended up going to jail for a couple hours, $500 post bond. And then I read another story where he ended up at a strip club that night. So Sunday night of the Super Bowl, after the game, after streaks across the field, after he gets arrested, ends up going to jail for a little bit, then ends up at a strip club and tries to jump on the stage. He's like, I'm the guy from the Super Bowl. And they're like, what? We just been here working all night. We have no idea. But he jumps on the stage and tries to do a little performance. I guess security or the bouncer had to kick him out of the strip club. But hey, he made, $375,000 for that one moment in time. But the thing is, like with that, the fact that the NFL believes that we're not going to show it, we don't want to encourage other people to do it. That dude was genius about it. Made a shit ton of money. Yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy that streaked across the field. Super Bowl 55. Tom Brady's seventh Super Bowl victory. It's like, yeah, I'm the guy. But every person in that stadium that had a cell phone, got that on film. There's hundreds of camera angles, different vantage points, zoom, people putting music behind it. Dun, 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 dun. Capturing him. Yeah. Wasn't wearing a mask, though. He had one in his hand. I saw that. Running around, had a mask in his hand. Like, bro, that's the least of your concerns. Like, the Tampa Bay defense was on the field right at that moment in time. They're pretty good. They got some big boys. They got Ndamukong Suh and Pierre-Paul and White. And those guys goes, I've had enough of this shit. But they didn't. They laughed. They're like, they watched, an overweight security guy wipe out. Yeah. Dude's fine. He's going to be Instagram famous for the next couple of days, and then, going to have some money. Plenty of money. I always thought that was a great story. I read that today. I mean, that's smart. If you want to go into something and really have confidence, prop bets are always tough. Some of them are easy, but you don't really win a whole lot. There was that whole story about somebody was outside of Raymond James Stadium and recorded them practicing the national anthem beforehand, and they found out that it was like 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So the over-under on the prop bet was 2 minutes. So a bunch of people cashed in on that. But at that point, when you flood those prop bets and the winning goes down, and more people win, the less money that gets to go around. So that was kind of a bummer. But when going in, this is going to happen. How do you know it's going to happen, man? Because I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the guy streaking across the field. Ugh. And nobody's going to interview him. I mean, maybe we'll get him on this show. I don't know. But he's not going to be like on Good Morning America or whatever. Like David Muir is not going to sit down with him and be like, hey, man, so like, why did you decide to do this? He's like, well, lost my job because of COVID. Need to make some money. I said, I have an idea. That is a man of genius. That is a man of thought. He put some real time and effort into going, man, life's really hard. It's tough financially. It kind of sucks. Man, go to the Super Bowl. Man, that's pretty cool. Like, checks out the prop bets. He's like, I don't know what color Gatorade they're going to use. Who cares? Will there be a streaker? Light bulb. There will be now. I give him credit, though. I give him credit. I mean, kind of a moron, but I give him credit. If you want to jump on the comments, feel free. Again, you can comment on the Facebook Live video. Thanks to got some people watching on Facebook Live right now, also on Twitch and on the YouTube. You can jump on there at any time. Also, be sure you follow along with the program on Instagram. You don't really do much on Twitter. I try to avoid Twitter. I feel like Twitter is like where, I don't know, that's where the bad shit happens. People go off on tangents and people get banned and they censor people and I don't know. But I'm on Twitter at No Limit Cooper on Twitter, obviously on Facebook, and then Twitch. The Twitch app. If you have the Twitch app, you can download the Twitch app for free. It's in your app store or the Google Play Store. Download Twitch. You may have to sign up for an account, but it's free to sign up. I think if you have like Amazon Prime, you get like free subscriptions and stuff. So you enter your Amazon Prime stuff and you can jump on and subscribe to the show, follow the show, and help grow the Twitch empire, because that's what all the kids are doing. And I'm really trying to rejuvenate myself and become a kid again. So jump on that. We're going to take another short break. We'll talk more about tomorrow's show and another big headline for the day that we will get to here in just a moment. So stand by. Now we're back on National Pizza Day. Hashtag National Pizza Day. I guess it's the number one trending thing in America right now. on the platform I just said I don't really use a lot, and that's Twitter. I'm like, I don't know what's going on Twitter. National Pizza Day. And then in, impeachment trial. 1 and 2. National Pizza Day, because America, and the impeachment trial. Those are the top 2 trending things. But what else is trending? And I have to admit, back in the 90s, I had an unhealthy crush on Britney Spears. I did. Probably like millions and millions of other teen boys at the time. That was back. You kids may not remember this, but MTV Music Television, I think, is that still even on? Is it on the air anymore? I don't even know. Used to play music videos like over and over again. It was just like radio. They played the same shit like every hour and 15 minutes. So it was like, in an hour and 50 minutes, you're going to play Baby One More Time. Anyway, obviously Brit has been through some shit. And I just saw somebody posted something about, some new documentary, some new series, a new FX documentary about the Free Britney movement. Because she's been going on and doing like these Q&A things from her home. I think she's out in Vegas. I think she had a residency out there. I'm not sure if that's still, obviously probably not a thing during COVID, but it looks like she needs some help. It looks like maybe she's being held against her will. It's a very frightening. I saw somebody had posted like a screenshot of like this Q&A that she did, which maybe isn't the wisest thing to do in her current sitch. But they said it feels like in watching this that maybe she is blinking Morse code, like I need help, save me, or something. It was hilarious. And she's just, it's rough, man. Like there should be I think there's been interventions. Remember when she shaved her head? Remember that whole thing? That was like the biggest story in pop culture from years ago. Britney Spears loses her shit, shaves her head. It was like, what happened? Now she's got her hair back, but there's just like, it's in the eyes, I think. If you're good at reading people, which sometimes is tough to do and you can't see the face, but in the eyes, like you can see that there's the gears perhaps are hitting each other. They're not like forming, like how they should. There's some rigidness. It needs maybe some WD-40 or something, but I don't know. Apparently there's a new documentary out about this whole Free Britney movement, and everybody thinks that she's in need of desperate help. And perhaps she is, but I guess her boyfriend came to her defense and saying, well, it's really all her dad's fault. Her dad's an asshole. So I'm like, bro, get her out of Vegas, man. Take her to like, I don't know, upstate New York or something, somewhere nice, somewhere just real chill, maybe in the mountains, and give her some peace and tranquility, get her out of the limelight. But she keeps on putting herself back in the limelight. So maybe it's on her, but I'm just saying, hashtag Free Britney. That's what I'm saying. Tomorrow on the show, going to wrap up things a little early today. But Joey Arima is going to be on, fantastic artist. Dude can wail on that guitar. I'm going to see if he can bust one out for us tomorrow. But Joey Arima is going to be on. Dan Beck, CEO of Midwest Meals, and NutriPrep will be on. And Corky Gangsford, I believe, will be on from the band Code Red Riot, and drummed in the Blue Man Group for a very long time. Also drummed in Otherwise back in the day. Rest of the week, though, we got more guests. Let me get up. Again, I'm a guy that writes things down like longhand. Not the pen and the paper, and I write shit down. So coming up on Thursday show, Joey Chicago is going to be on. Joey Walzer from Devour the Day and Egypt Central, and just started his own apparel company, Third Eye Hat Co. He is going to be on. Andrew Solano, fitness trainer, is going to be on. Josh Batumi from the Talk to Me podcast. He talks to a bunch of rock stars and heavy metal stars. He's going to be on. And Todd Whitener from Blitzkrieg, a new band that had just formed. Todd was a part of starting Tantric and Days of the New back in the day. He was founding member of both of those bands. So he's going to be on with us talking about his new project, Blitzkrieg. That is coming up on Thursday's show. Friday lining up very nicely as well. Ryan Patrick of Otherwise. I love those Otherwise guys. They're good human beings. We got Lorraine and Derek from October Rose are going to be on. My great buddy, fantastic country artist and songwriter George Dukas. He will be on the program. And Mikey Carvajal of Islander, he is going to be on too. Mikey and the Islander guys, they just did a new entrance song for Sting, the AEW, former WWE, WCW wrestler, Stinger. They just did a new entrance song for him. So that's pretty badass. I want to talk to him about that. So, but we're going to wrap up the show a little early today. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you join us again tomorrow, 3 until 6 p.m. Central, and again Thursday and Friday and all next week. Follow us on all the socials and share the video, especially on Facebook. We're trying to get our Facebook shares up. So share the video, tell your friends, and guest inquiries, as always, you can hit me up in the DMs and all the social medias, and Cooper at welcometocooperville.com. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Pizza Tuesday, National Pizza Day, and we'll catch you again here tomorrow. Until